Hey, fun fact, the intro you're about to see is created by the guest of the podcast that you're about to watch. Enjoy. Syrian Trap House Podcast, episode number... No one knows. This is Maggie. It's her first time being on the podcast. No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's
Last time it was, we had some technical mishaps, guys, and I'm sorry about that. And dude, it's really unfortunate because most of our podcasts are stoned rants, with not much substance to them. But when I did a podcast with Maggie, it was actually. It set the record for the longest podcast in Syrian Trap House history.
What a waste.
What a waste, dude. So now we're recording the audio separately, and if this doesn't work, then I quit.
Okay.
Yeah, I quit.
I'll quit too.
I quit, yeah.
Suicide pact.
Yep. Maggie, I met Maggie through the host of Syrian Trap House podcast, and they were former neighbors. Did you live there when Liam lived there?
No, I didn't. Newhouse. Maggie Newhouse. Same name. I came first. It's mine.
Did you? Did you come first?
I did come first. December 22nd, 1998. She's 1998.
You're 98?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'm a relic.
I never meet people that are older than me.
Really?
Yeah, because I did kindergarten twice.
You did kindergarten twice, really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, my ADHD, my teachers was like, he's not really progressing, and my dad was like, all right.
Kindergarten's a fucking waste of money.
Yeah. It really is.
All I did was just I remember doing kindergarten is picking my nose. Yeah, that's all I did.
I think one of the only useful things about kindergarten is that you learn how to interact with other kids.
Yeah.
This girl I dated, she when she was 7, she had really bad anxiety. So for I think a semester, her parents homeschooled her, and then they went to this, and then they really wanted her to make friends. So they went to this thing where homeschooled people take their kids. And she said they were just all so socially awkward, and some of them would be wearing the same, matching outfits. And that's apparently that's a real thing. I've seen it in the movies, but god damn.
Yeah, my cousins were homeschooled.
Oh.
It's a family of 5. All of them were homeschooled.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. And I can see it a little bit. It's just they're nice people. I hang out with them a lot. Of course, yeah. Yeah, one of my cousins is actually about to have a baby.
Oh, one of them that's homeschooled?
Yeah, well, I mean, she's 26 now, so
right.
Yeah, but yeah, they were all homeschooled. And I definitely there is just one little thing about them that's really hard to put my finger down on, but I'm something. I think you're definitely homeschooled. That's the only thing that you can say about it.
It's social cues a little bit. Mm-hmm. My dad's ex-girlfriend was homeschooled, but she's an anomaly. You can't really even factor in because she was so insane.
Really?
Yeah, she was so fucking crazy.
Shit.
It's it's one of those things where do you want to know how crazy she is?
Yeah.
Do you have 6 hours? It's one of those things. It's yeah, short story. When my dad was talking about when I was a junior in high school, he was talking about I need to get out of Spokane.
Yeah.
Because he grew up there, and then he went to UW, and then he went back, so he's been in there basically his whole life. And then so he's I need to get out of here. I want to go to California because we have family there. And so after I graduated, he went, and he was dating this girl, but the way he explained it to me is that when you're in your 50s and you meet someone new and you're that old, it's about compromise, not necessarily falling so deeply in love.
It's just let's just get married.
It's I can stand you, I don't want to be alone. But yeah, so I lived with her at her house, and I would my friends and I would smoke in the basement, and then we would there's this thing where you take an empty toilet paper roll, and then you take rubber bands and you take a bunch of dryer sheets and you rubber band it to the end, and then you stuff some in, so when you blow the smoke, it just smells like dryer sheet.
Smart.
Yeah, but then turns out she went down to my room and was searching through my room and stuff, and then she was hey, are you smoking in the house? I was no. And then she looked at me like this, and then just stormed downstairs and shook. She's what is this? I was oh, that hasn't been used. And she's why is it all yellow? And I was because we're using it. And then crazy thing, that camera right there, one time I was with my friends, And we were doing a little drinking, and like we were acting insane. So I took out the camera to capture the moment, and then it was just on the table like one day, and she just like decided to look through it. So it's like that, dude. It's like it's like so for her, it's like extremely obvious that she's homeschooled. But you know, I'm sure it's not like that for everyone.
Yeah, no, they're like nice kids. My cousins, they're definitely just like a little awkward, and they like books a little bit too much. My cousin was like obsessed with Harry Potter for 12 years. She still is.
Would they in the same fashion where a 13-year-old nowadays like goes in the corner with their phone, would they be like completely like exile themselves and go like read?
Yeah, actually they really do that. I mean, a couple of them, I would say like we have a pretty good family structure. We see them a lot. So, and our family is like super sarcastic. So I think we kind of like
I can
you can tell. Yeah. I grew up in like just no emotions, just humor. It makes for some good jokes though.
Does it when you're uncomfortable, when you find yourself in an uncomfortable situation, do you use humor as like deflector?
Yeah, I never like tension.
Yeah,
I never like tension.
It's
so like I always, and I see this with a lot of comedians that I like too. You ever listen to Bert Kreischer?
Yes, he's so funny.
Fucking hilarious, dude. Do you ever hear his flying dildos story?
No.
Okay, so he was in Amsterdam with like a bunch of friends. And they go to a live sex show because he's not there for like the history or whatever.
What is a sex show?
I guess I'll kind of explain it. But basically, they go in a really small room, probably like this big, honestly, and they watch people like have sex, like live.
It seems pretty straightforward.
And yeah, he even was just like, I was expecting a little bit more when I came here. So he's like, I don't like silence, so I start like telling jokes to people, and then they start getting mad at him. Because he's
because he's talking.
Just because he's talking and shit. And then, like, I think at one point this dude is, like, doing crowd work, and he's just like, we should have just gone to the fucking Anne Frank house.
He has some really good bits. Joe Rogan has a bit about the people that say you shouldn't have weed should probably be on weed.
Yeah.
Because they're so uptight. Sometimes I meet some people and they're so uptight. I'm like, dude, you should come over and like sesh with me. I swear, you'll look at things different.
Yeah. I used to be like that. I used to be like, weed is the devil, and I'm like, weed is nothing.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? Like when we're like 13 or 14, we're thinking that like the hardcore kids do weed, and like now like Liam has coworkers who like will bring over like tabs of acid, and they'll just like be popping them while we're watching a movie. I'm just like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. That is, no, I definitely, like, had that, I guess, point in middle school, actually. We had a really funny story that happened to us in middle school. The only situation of kids being caught with drugs, because it was, like, a really nice middle school. So,
good area.
Yeah, these 3 girls drank bong water, which is just gross.
Did they think they were gonna get high from it?
Yeah, so, of course, one chick, like, throws up in the hallway.
Oh, my God,
and then
dude.
she, like, rats out the rest of them, and they all get suspended for, like, a week and a half.
She ratted them out for drinking bong water.
Which, I feel like, which just makes you guys look like fucking morons.
Yeah, I don't even know if you should get, like, suspended or disciplined. They should just sit you down and tell you how dumb that is.
Yeah, like, hey, maybe actually smoke some weed next time, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm hitting the bong, and I get a little in my mouth, it's like I have to go brush my teeth.
Yeah.
It's the worst taste in the world.
I don't mind the taste of weed, but, like, bong water and, like, that wax, too. Just, like, coats the back of your throat. You don't, like...
Wait, what wax? What do you mean?
Just, like, the
black
concentrates.
Resin?
Yeah, the black resin, that stuff.
Yeah.
I can't do dabs anymore. Shit fucked me up.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what happened to Liam. We're gonna put some videos up on the screen. You know, Liam took one dab. They came over, and then,
I was high as soon as I walked in. I didn't even take a hit.
Oh yeah, no one took. And then Nero's also trying to work at the post office. He cannot for the time being because the air was so concentrated that everyone got high. I'm sure even Ben was high.
I guarantee it. Yeah.
Wait, like do you really believe that you were like contact high?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I can tell like when your perception kind of starts to slow down. I'm like, okay, this is like I'm like out of it. Not like to the extent that I would be if I like actually smoked, but definitely like whoa, like
yeah, because dabs like the smoke is definitely more like concentrated and potent.
Concentrated.
So yeah, and we were just like that was the last night before we started our not bender our month of not doing anything, and so we were just going hard. Justin and I, we split an entire gram. Mm-hmm. And we just, it was fucking insane.
Are you gonna show videos of that in the podcast?
Huh?
You should show all the videos that you took.
Oh yeah, we got some great clips. We were all very drunk, so by virtue of that, it's very entertaining.
Do you want to hear a story of the first time I took a dab?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
These stories are always the best. It's always people acting like completely out of character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I took 2 hits.
Two dabs? Off a pen or off
no,
like a
out
rig?
of like the fucking rig. Oh. Yeah, I was a freshman.
Wait, why?
Because I was a freshman and I couldn't get weed, so I was like, the only way I can get it.
Did you take one and then you were like, oh, I feel fine?
Yeah, and then I did another one.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I was high for the next 24 hours. I had to take a math test.
Oh no.
Oh no. I got 100%.
You did not.
I did.
Are you fucking serious?
I aced that shit.
Oh my god.
It was easy fucking math. I was like, this shit's so easy. I was in the zone with that, like, with whatever I took. I don't know if it was like indica, sativa, but like just so laser focused. And then I would just forget the question once I moved on to the next one.
Oh my god.
And then we watched a movie for my like film class. I think it was like Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh yeah, wait, isn't that based in India?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, good movie, really good.
Yeah,
movie.
I haven't seen it. What is it about?
So it's this guy in India who wins the lottery, or no, he doesn't win the lottery. He goes on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh.
Yeah, like that Indian version, and he's like answering all the questions correctly. So obviously the situation over there is much different. So like they won't just like let you like keep going, or they think that you're winning, they think you're cheating. So I think he gets like followed by some kind of mafia that his brother's a part of.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Directed by one of my favorite directors, also the guy who did Trainspotting. Yeah.
What is that?
So Trainspotting is a movie about heroin addicts in Scotland, and just the way that it's filmed, because it's a very depressing subject, is just like super surreal, super crazy, like people just
like odd angles and stuff.
Kind of. It's sort of like how someone would like write about it in a book, because it is a book. It was written, I can't remember the guy's name, but like the director was friends with the guy and then he made the movie. So it kind of just talks about how like their experience and shows them in like the really weird surreal way that like they would be portrayed, I guess, if you were on heroin. So there's like an overdose scene in that. And the way that they show it is that, first of all, it's like super slow and deliberate. Like it even has like an angle of being inside the needle as like the drugs are going into his system. I have no fucking idea.
Do they portray that very well?
Oh my god, yeah. I'll have to send them to you or like show them. And then like the way that it shows him overdosing is that like he just kind of stops and then he like falls back and he's on a rug. And then when he falls back into the rug, it starts sinking into the ground. And he's like probably like 6 feet under, and he's like overdosing, and it actually like shows him like in there, and then I think his friend is kind of looking down at him, being like, I probably should get this guy to a hospital.
I would assume that they used like the experiences of actual like heroin addicts.
Oh yeah.
Because it had to be, because if it was done that well, then I feel like you would have definitely had to have some like first person experience.
The guy who wrote it was actually like in, I think, a group of recovering addicts at the time. I'm not sure if he was actually an addict himself, but he was friends with them. And the thing I like about the movie is it's not like Reefer Madness. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Okay, so it's like is that a truck?
Yeah.
Alright, whatever. Anyway.
No insulation in this house. You hear everything.
I'm in a garage. I hear everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have like no insulation. I'm also cold all the time. But anyway, yeah, Reefer Madness was like this movie that came out in like the late 30s, and it was like the horrors of marijuana. It's like, here's
30s?
The 30s, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, which at the time, marijuana was legal in the United States because people just didn't care up until like late 30s. I think it was...
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, it was a racially motivated bill passed as well because a lot of Mexican Americans would bring it over. Yeah. So they made all these like big PSAs. Like a lot of the war on drugs like has a lot of that stuff. But they made these like big movie PSAs called Reefer Madness. It's like, if you do pot even once, you're gonna get involved in like these terrible activities, weird orgies,
slippery
slope,
gateway drug.
And then you're gonna do cocaine, and there's
the
another
next
PSA
week.
about next week you're gonna do cocaine.
And then 3 days after that, acid, malt. It gets just bad.
And then you're dead in the gutter. Like you don't even get like a few days grace. Like,
no way.
Period.
No fucking way.
Yeah. So the difference between that and Reefer Madness is that it's obviously, it doesn't romanticize it. It's a very depressing, sad movie. It's very funny. in the way that it shows it, but it's not.
Like, is it funny, like, with the 2021 point of view in mind?
Yes. Because it was done in the 90s, and it's very, like, dark for the 90s, but it has that, like, mindset that I just personally really vibe with, like, kind of more punk grunge era, like, mentalities, because they all love their punk and grunge, but, yeah, it's, like, at first, it kind of goes, like, oh, look at these experiences, it's not as bad as you think, and then it's, like, just kidding.
Oh my god.
Yeah, here you go.
Wait, so it's based in the 30s, shot in the 90s?
No. Trainspotting is just based in the 90s. Yeah, Reefer Madness is, like, from the 30s, based in the 30s. It definitely shows, like, the attitudes towards drugs at the time. Because obviously Reefer Madness, it's like if you do drugs, you're, like, basically a byproduct of the devil. And then in the 90s, during the opioid crisis, that was when people were kind of starting to go, okay, maybe addiction isn't just, like, this thing that causes monsters. Maybe it's real people that need help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Opioid crisis is pretty fucked up.
Yeah, for real. It's so sad because so Logan Paul, I watch his podcast a lot, and one of his it's funny because every time I say that, especially to a girl for some reason, like my ex, she's like, I fucking hate Logan Paul.
I'm not a big fan, but I don't judge.
No, but, like, here's what I will say about Logan Paul. I watched his videos in 2016 when he was so fucking obnoxious. Yeah. And, like, he's really come a long way. So, and I know it's hard to get over the cringe of the Paul brothers because of how popular they are, and they were. But anyway, he has a friend who's his co-host on his podcast, and he was, like, a recovering drug addict, and he broke his leg, and they gave him oxycodone from Purdue Pharma. Oh, yeah. And it's like, and the way he described it is that, like, imagine if, like, one brand of, like, weed was just killing people. And, they were massively gaining off this stuff. And, yeah, he does a podcast where he talks about, like, his whole journey, and it's just, like, I don't even know how he made it out. Like, he kept reiterating, like, how lucky he was to have made it out because he knew a lot of friends who, like, weren't. Yeah. But speaking of movies that are based on books, there's not even okay, you know the GameStop bullshit that's happening? Yeah, I'm aware. They're about to make a movie about it. They've already, like, started, like, writing a movie about it, and then based on a book concept. So the book's not even out yet, but they're making a movie about it.
They wanted to do this since the very beginning. They were like, we're going to fucking make money off of this somehow.
Last time when we had our major technical difficulties, you were going through your list of top movies. Right. I'm not going to make you rehash every one of them, but maybe pick two and say, like, what do you like about them?
Okay, well, I already said Trainspotting. Yeah. And that one was on my list.
Wait, you mentioned that last time. Who's starring in it?
Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
Kenobi. Yeah.
That's legendary.
Very, very huge jump. Like, heroin addict, Jedi. Yeah. I mean, hey, good for him. He made the leap.
Yeah, for real.
If I was to choose another movie from my list that I like, Big Lebowski. That one's great. I'm definitely...
Who's that starring?
That's Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges? Yeah. Do I definitely know him?
I don't know if he's, like, the biggest actor, but I mean, that is definitely, like, his magnum opus, is that movie. Then John Goodman, Sully from Monsters, Inc. He's in that too.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and then Steve Buscemi, also from Monsters, Inc., now that I think about it. Randall.
Wow.
The purple dude. Yeah. So if Jeff Bridges was Mike Wazowski in that, it would be like a whole Big Lebowski, like... Yeah. It would be like a whole meetup. Oh, man. I wish I could go back in time and send that letter to Pixar. Like, you have to do this.
Dude, can you imagine... If you had one superpower, would it be to travel through time or to pause time?
See, I don't know. Because... traveling through time definitely opens up a whole wormhole of just things that can happen that could fuck up, like, the time stream. Also, interesting fact, if you went back in time, you would probably kill everything that you touched because the bacteria and viruses that are in your system are so advanced and evolved that you would absolutely just kill everything.
Why, just from, like, evolution? Yeah. Oh, shit. And, and everything, like, for example, like, right now, all the stuff that we have, like... all the emissions from, like, cars and stuff. There's way more cars. There's way more, like, technology and stuff. So, like, I bet we're just like do you think do you think that like over time like humans' necks will like go more and more like this? Because we're constantly looking down at stuff, and it's a growing trend. Like because like phones popped up so fast, so like I bet like through the next like 100 years, I bet we're gonna evolve in like weird ways, like weird thumbs and stuff.
Yeah, that depends, obviously, because physical evolution is actually a lot slower than our cultural evolution. I think.
That would make sense.
Yeah, the modern human actually has lasted about 10,000 years. So we're about as similar to humans as we were back in like ancient Rome. Yeah, which is interesting to think about. So we won't be doing that much changing like in about 100 years. Although I can see this being like maybe like a sort of variable, like a good trait to have, like is to have very like flexible neck muscles. Also because our heads are like 10 pounds. And yeah, if you use that a lot, then it's like you're gonna have major neck problems, which can just lead to problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be a little bit more random, but I think like we're more likely to lose our like pinky toes in the next like 500 years. I think.
Why do you think that?
It's because I think they're getting smaller. I haven't taken anthropology in a while, but the difference between like Homo sapiens, Homo habilis, all of that is that they basically had the same hand structure on their feet. So obviously, like the gripping was super important because they had like a toe basically on their feet to like in order to move along.
Yeah.
Obviously, since humans evolved to just walk on like two legs, we completely lost that capability, which means we lost the need for this on our feet.
Wait, are you saying that it's possible that our toes have gotten shorter as we evolved?
Oh god, yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, we might even evolve out of them.
Dude, oh my god, that is such a crazy concept.
I know.
I cannot fucking believe that.
Really creepy concept art too. Just like stumps.
Yeah. Dude, also, what about like our eyes though? All that blue light. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you think that's gonna do to us?
It's gonna shrivel up. No, I don't know. I think blue light is definitely like really like a huge issue, especially with like the way that our eyes are right now. I think it obviously before we have any like major physical deformations, I think that technological corporations will probably like try to fix it. But yeah,
could they even make screens without blue light?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can see something like that happening kind of soon, but yeah, of course it all depends. I mean, we're very addicted to our technology, and I think that they want us to continue to be addicted. Which, yeah,
for the money.
For the money. If you listen to those CEOs talk, by the way, like, they'll say, oh, I would never let my kid have a cell phone. I'm like, what the fuck are you making them?
Dude, and that's what I hate about Apple. Because they just make it so you're, like, trapped in. You're like, oh, you want iMessage?
Hey, do you want to make things easier? Sorry, fucker.
You want cloud? You want FaceTime?
I have to buy more storage. I'm really mad.
Me too, dude. Yeah. I've been having to do that for a while, and because of that, and like I break phones really easy. I've gone through 3 phones since I've had full storage, so I've lost a lot of pictures and stuff.
I know. I use this shit for portfolios. Like, this is my livelihood.
Yeah.
And my computer's holding it hostage. Steve Jobs, you're dead. Good.
Have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't. It looks good though.
It's pretty crazy. Do you know like how he died?
Yeah.
Through like the
fucking idiot.
The fruit.
Yeah, what a fucking moron.
Pancreas.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, apple a day my fucking ass.
I mean, like based on the way he was portrayed in the movie, it like makes a lot of sense because he's just like his baby mama, the mother of his kid is.
They were married. There's no way.
They were extremely poor, and he really didn't really help them. No. And he was so rich. And like there was this one scene where they were about to do the unveiling of like the first ever Apple computer, and they couldn't they didn't have enough power in the building to do that. So he I can't remember exactly, but he basically told them to do something really selfish. Like turn off the street lights for 5 minutes.
Oh my god!
But it's just fucking crazy.
Hey, the hospital next door, can we get some of that power generated? Can you just turn off their life support machines for 2 minutes?
Just 2 minutes. 10 tops.
Yeah, literally, they can hold their breath. It's not that hard.
I'm releasing a computer. Are you serious?
Dude, this is gonna change the world.
But yeah, I messaged you earlier about American Psycho. Yeah. I didn't finish it, but I was watching it earlier, and dude, I Like, I knew Christian Bale was a great actor, but now he's, like, on my list of, like, top 5 or 3. Like, he's so fucking good.
He's definitely, like, an anomaly. Where I'm not, like, where it comes to Leo and everyone knows Leo and they all love him, it's like I don't think about Christian Bale as much as, like, being a good actor because I know him for Batman.
Yeah, he's a great Batman.
Which is a good Batman, like, obviously. But yeah, he's gone through some shit, method acting wise. He, like, lost so much. I can't even remember what movie this is, but, like, I think he kept his accent for this one because he's Irish. But yeah,
Is he Irish?
He is Irish.
I thought he was like New Zealand.
It is like English, something along there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he like lost, I think, he lost like up to 80 pounds for a role. Shaved his head, like he looked like a cancer patient.
I follow like film accounts and I saw a post like all of his transformations and like for example in 2012 it was Batman, he was really jacked, and then the next year he did a movie where he was so thin.
Mm-hmm. We're probably talking about the same one.
Yeah, but there was a lot of them where he was thin. Like there was one where he played a race car driver and he was very thin.
Oh yeah.
But then there was other ones too.
Yeah, and then did you see Vice?
No, is that a movie?
Yeah, he plays Dick Cheney.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was one of the things. And there was also a post I saw where it was like comparing actors to the real people, and he
looks so similar.
And I don't know how they conceptualized that when he was just like a fit guy. He's like, oh, you would look like Dick Cheney.
Christian Bale of all people looks like Dick Cheney. Like who would have thought?
Exactly. You know the Three Stooges?
Yeah.
You know the fat one, Curly?
Yeah, Curly.
They when they were thinking about making that movie, they made the movie, but you know who they were thinking about casting as Curly?
Who?
Jim Carrey.
Oh my god.
Right?
You can't do that to my boy.
You can't do it. Jim is a thin guy, man.
Yeah.
Like I bet he would do it so well, but he's just such a good actor.
He's got to be like one of the skinnier guys, like Larry or Mo. I don't remember which one's the skinny guys. I guess they're all kind of like bulky.
Yeah, they are. I like that show. I used to watch that show when I was younger, and it made life seem so simple.
I know. I guess it's just like it's so funny because a lot of people are like, man, humor nowadays is so fucked. I'm like, back in like the 30s, it's like Looney Tunes was considered so like scary because it was gonna like ruin our children's morals. That shit is like so common these days.
That's like such a soft show.
I know, but if you think about back in the 30s, I guess people like kids were pissing their pants over things like Snow White. They thought that shit was so scary. Yeah, it's
what the fuck?
It's just I guess just movies were like really hard to conceptualize before, like because when they were first coming out. The very first movie is a very famous story. It's like the very first video ever shown was a train coming into a station, and when it pulled into the station, people literally jumped out of their seats and ran out of the tent because they thought they were gonna get run over by a train. Oh my god! Yeah.
Just imagine if like the same audience that saw the video of the train pulling in, what if we showed them Star Wars from 2019?
I think
they would shit themselves.
Yeah, they would have aneurysms. Imagine showing them something like Saw.
Oh my god, dude! The adults. The kids I think would just die right there.
Yeah.
But I think the adults would like do what kids do nowadays. They would just have trouble sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to be fair though, there was some weird shit that was being filmed back in like the 50s. Have you ever seen any of Salvador Dali's like short films?
No.
Okay. He's also just a maniac, so he was gonna do this like regardless, just any like form medium that he had, he would just make something really fucking weird. And he made a film, I literally can't remember what it's called, which is, unprofessional, whatever. But, like, yeah, we had to watch this for our film class, and it's just a very simple, like, film of just, like, I think, like, a field, and then it's, like, a woman doing dishes, and then some guy comes up behind her, grabs her forehead, and slices a razor across her eyeball, and that's it.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What year was this?
1950.
Oh my god, people must have had aneurysms over that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Obviously, he cut it. I think he cut, like, a dead pig's eyeball. Still very hard to watch. Like, even, because it's just very, like, quick. Like, it's just so simple. Dude comes up just right across the eye. The end.
It's so interesting the way they used to edit films. Mm-hmm. They used to literally take scissors and, like, cut them and stuff. But, like, what I don't understand is how did they do text and, like...
I don't know. I think, I think it was a lot of matte paintings. Like, they would literally just make, like, canvases with, like, they'd have, like, they would have the titles.
Like the credits
They would have the credits, and they would literally just put it on a canvas, and then they just film it for, like, a full minute. and like depending on billing, obviously, like who was the most impressive. And then I think later, well, there was actually a really interesting way of doing credits, because after, I think like once you get around to like the film brat era, which is like the late 60s, early 70s, kind of like in the 80s too, there was a lot of experimentation with that. So there's a really interesting story of the movie The Thing. Have you ever seen that?
The Thing, is that like the Rock guy?
No, I mean The Thing is also like the Fantastic Four. But
when you tell me what the actual thing is, I bet I'm gonna be embarrassed.
That's okay. Keep it in, it'll be funny. Anyway, yeah, it's a movie about an alien that can change its shape and form.
Okay.
To
like, humans as well?
Yes.
Oh.
So its entire plan is just to completely assimilate to humans and to like create its own species, so it can completely change its cell structure. And it plans to like take over this like little settlement in Antarctica in like the early 80s. Very interesting movie. I won't spoil anything of it because like the most impressive part is definitely the special effects. All practical. And don't watch any of the scenes. Just independently, you have to watch the whole movie.
Why? Because they won't make sense?
No, it's because it's like spoiler wise. Like I don't want you to watch it. You just have to go in blind. You're gonna be like really, really impressed.
Sweet.
But yeah, anyway, the way that they did the intro, I watched a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and
yeah, me too. I like that.
Obviously, like the first like minute or so, it shows like the spaceship landing on Earth, and then the way the titles are done is that I guess the guy like put a box of garbage bags together, and then he put like a flammable piece of paper behind like a box cut and lit it on fire. And
that's so creative.
Yeah, and then he like color corrected it so that it was blue. Really impressive, like burn. It just looks really like intimidating, really interesting.
That's awesome. It's interesting. It's interesting what the lengths people would go to when they didn't have the technology that we have today. It's kind of why like low budget films tend to be sometimes more impressive than like films like Star Wars with $400 million budgets.
Yeah, I think that Disney Star Wars is definitely not as fun.
Because you just gotta they figure it out, and it's like Casey Neistat made a video he made a video about like how having the best gear like doesn't mean shit. Like and then he showed this one film that won a film festival. It was shot on an iPhone 5.
Oh, I think I know what this movie is.
Yeah, I don't
it's
know.
about the prostitute, isn't it?
The one thing I remember is that there was a scene in a hospital, I think.
Okay, I think it's called Tangerine. But
that might be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the budget was $134.
That's all you need.
But what I was thinking was like the actors must have done it for free then, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, it had to have. I think that the guy who filmed that also did the Florida Project, which is a really, really good movie too. I'd recommend checking that one out. And he's just known for kind of like doing really like not as, I guess it's like so a lot of people always say they want to break the industry and then they kind of end up just doing the same thing, but he's definitely someone who's like, no, film isn't like this shit, it's literally just like, he likes to show people. So Tangerine, it's about a prostitute in Miami, I think, and they shot it all on a phone, which actually really helps to make it like feel really gritty, really real, not like a really nice like $1,000 to $2,000 DSLR camera.
What is it like? What does it look? Is it like color corrected so it looks like a lot better than an average, or is it?
I think it's not color corrected. I think that's part of the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about the audio?
The audio is all through the camera as well.
Are you serious? And it's and it's good?
I don't mind it. Yeah, I really
That's
don't
awesome.
mind it. Obviously, it's a little hard to get past the technical stuff sometimes. One of my favorite directors, David Lynch, did something really similar with just like a video camera, from 2006. And it sucks because his stuff is really like cool and surreal, so when it's on like really high-tech, like high-res film, it looks really good. But like obviously his whole thesis statement was like, I just want to make a movie, which I respect. And still somehow, like, I've seen like horror movies, I've seen Saw like a million times. That fucking movie,
Saw 1?
Not Saw 1. Inland Empire, the movie that he did on the video camera, is still like one of the fucking scariest things I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, terrifying. He knows how to scare people.
So when they do low budget films like that where they're only shooting it with an iPhone or like a video camera, is it like is there no lighting in the back? It's just all straight up, there's just someone.
I think there may or may not be like lighting. Although with the budget like 134, there has to just be none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so insane. Yeah, that's honestly really inspiring because I remember when I was like 16 and I first started like wanting to like edit and stuff. I was really discouraged by the fact that I didn't have good gear, and like I didn't realize that it's like that it's like the project is in like the hands of like the, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like I didn't realize that like there's so much you can do in like post production and stuff. And like for example, I only had a camera like that.
Yeah.
Where like not a one where you zoom in like with your hand. It was like just that one.
Yeah.
And like now that I like experiment with all these cameras, it's like you can get really cool like shots. Like in Jaws, for example, they have a lot of those shots where they like zoom in.
Oh yeah, like the fisheye lens shot where like, the background is like going at a different pace as like the foreground.
Yeah, the scene where his son gets eaten. They have the camera on like a little track, and as they're bringing it back, they're zooming in.
Yeah, the dolly zoom.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
Yeah, it does, and I just feel like there's like less creativity. I mean, there's going to be less and less creativity as movies like get more and more advanced. There's more funding and technology and stuff.
I know. That's like kind of the huge bummer about a lot of the newer stuff is I'm just not impressed by it anymore. A really good thing to like bring up in that vein is The Exorcist, because we did watch The Exorcist.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. And there is this one scene where they literally have to follow this family up the stairs. And this is before, like, camera dollies were invented because it was early 70s. Mm-hmm. So the way that they had it set up was they jerry-rigged some kind of, like, table, tied a bunch of, like, strings to it, and then they used, like, a pulley lever system to literally, like, bring it up the stairs. Just, like, a big-ass, like, 70-pound camera.
Was it, if this is the stairs right here, was it, like, there?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So, filming down the whole time, they had to have somebody, like, sitting there and, like, rolling, obviously, on this, like, rickety-ass table with, like, ropes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that guy, he did it. He's a maniac.
Yeah, and I thought the production value was fine.
It's great. It's a good movie. That guy, that director is known for kind of abusing the fuck out of his actors to get good performances. Linda Blair, I don't think she was ever the same. She was 12 years old.
Oh, yeah, dude. That would be a tough thing to do when you're 12. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like how, how on Snapchat they have, like, the news things? Yeah. There's, like, it's not really news. It's just, like, bullshit. Yeah, exactly.
It's not news.
So it's, like, so I'm on Snapchat and I see Charlie D'Amelio's fans are really pissed about the reason she didn't go back to school.
And then I'm like, who's Charlie D'Amelio?
Yeah, so, and like I recognize the name. She's like a TikToker or something.
Yeah, she's a TikTok star.
Yeah, so I look up how old she is, and she's 16 years old, dude. Mm-hmm. So similar to that actress, it's like, dude, how can you like deal with that much pressure at that age and not be completely fucked up like a couple years down the road?
That's why child actors are so destroyed.
Which which is why I'm so impressed with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah,
because he's been doing it since he was young, dude. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Great fucking movie. So good.
He's in so many amazing movies. Like, I am actually very blown away by just his prowess. Yeah.
He really gets into it.
Mm-hmm. I know. He does, like, so many different movies, too.
Yeah.
Like, he's just very flexible. I would say he's, like, the Orson Welles of our generation, honestly.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't? Alright, Citizen Kane.
Yes, dude, we watched that in film class when I was going to Spokane Falls Community College. Mm-hmm. I liked that movie.
Yeah, no, he ended up, it's kind of funny though, because he ended up just becoming a huge alcoholic later in his life. Like, I mean, he was a total, like, he was a total genius though, total visionary. But yeah, I would say that Leonardo DiCaprio comes very close because he has, like, directorial vision, he has, like, acting vision.
Has he directed?
I think he has, like, helped direct. He hasn't actually directed his own movie, but, like, he's very involved in the production of his movies. But all the stuff that he has done is very different from what he will do. So, like, Wolf of Wall Street, obviously, is, like, the big thing that he was part of.
Such a good movie. I can't believe he didn't win an Oscar. That's
I know.
Such bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
I watched so many new movies to me that have him in it, and I'm like, how did he not win that?
I don't know. And honestly, it totally makes me go, the Oscars are just total shit show.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's just, I feel like it's a popularity contest, which also doesn't make sense because he's popular, so, like... It's
a way to get people coming back. Also, it's just kind of, like, influenced by the upper staff, like the Weinsteins of the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a big scandal, I think it was in 1999, I'm probably getting the year wrong, but it was whenever Shakespeare in Love came out.
Mm.
That won Best Picture, or it won Best Actress, because Gwyneth Paltrow had a relationship, or I think her father was trying to get her into the industry, so he paid him off, like, a lot of money to influence the Oscars to give her Best Actress.
What was, like... So with Harvey Weinstein, like, how did he manipulate the women? Like, what power did he have over them, like, in terms of getting into the industry?
Well, he was sort of like the gateway to roles, obviously. So, he would let them in, and he would obviously give them lots of nice things, which is a really common, like, grooming tactic. And then at one point, you're like, listen, if you want to continue this, you're gonna have to give me something back. So then he would, like, try to petition them.
Oh my god.
Sleep with them. And then I think at some points just straight up, like, assault them. And if they, like, spoke back, or if they, like, threatened some kind of lawsuit, he would threaten to take everything away from them. So he would get people, like, completely scrubbed from the industry because of how much power he had. Uma Thurman is actually a really, really good example. Because I don't know if this is a super well-known fact, I'm pretty sure it was, like, covered up initially when it did happen, is that she was one of the women that actually, like, stood up to him and said, go fuck yourself. And he, I think he, it's hard to explain what happened, but she got in a huge car crash and people think that he was involved. On set. So...
On set? On set she got in a car crash?
Yeah, in Kill Bill.
Holy fuck, dude. Did you ever see that like video that one of the women wanted to, like, frame him, or, like, wanted to, like, not frame him.
He's
but,
not, he's guilty.
He's very fucking guilty. But, like, she wanted evidence, so, like, she had her like webcam on, and then they, like, sat in front of the thing, and, like, just the way that he would talk to her.
He's so gross.
Oh, dude, and it's like his like attitude's gross, and, like, everything he does is gross, but, like, also he's just not good looking.
No, he's not. I was gonna say that too.
Guy.
He's fucking hideous.
So ugly. Like, there's so many fucked up people in Hollywood that are so good looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just could not. Like, you can't lose a little bit of weight, dude. It's like,
I know.
Like, you have a chef. I guarantee you have a chef.
I know. Yeah. No, he's definitely, like, he's just, like, the epitome of, like, the disgusting Hollywood, like, producer stereotype in real life. This is a simulation.
Wait, is he in jail?
Oh, yeah.
Is he, like, in prison forever?
I think he's, like, in for life. Or maybe he was getting sentenced. I don't know. I haven't really followed him in a couple years. I feel like getting canceled at this point is, like, already, like, a life sentence.
Yeah, like that country singer. Did you hear about... yeah, he said the N-word.
God damn it.
It was, like, a TMZ, and he's like, I'm gonna go get this he's like, fuck you, I'm gonna go get this motherfucker, and then he said, fuck you, I'm gonna go get this mother...
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's tough, because I bet a lot of stars from, like, from pre-telephone times, pre-video camera times, I bet they said a lot of fucked up shit, and they were never...
Yeah. That's, I think, the really hard thing, though, about a lot of cancer culture is that... Cancer culture? Cancel culture. That's a really hard thing, yeah. That's a really hard thing about cancel culture, is that you look at a lot of the stuff that happened in the past with the lens of the future, which, obviously, it's like, oh yeah, 1930s, wait, women couldn't work? That's sexist. So it's like, yeah, it was the 1930s. It was a time where people just had a different viewpoint, and also women were kind of just necessary in that vein. Not saying it's a good thing. I mean, obviously, like, people, they were necessary, especially during the war effort, but you can't, like...
Is that how the whole ideology that the women should cook and stuff, because, like, the men were gone at war? And
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I actually just took an exam for one of my art history classes, and during World War I, there was a lot of posters put out saying, like, women need to be nurses, mothers, and caregivers at this time, because you need to take care of the business while the man is away. Which, obviously, you know, is very sexist by today's standards, but for the time, especially in, like, the early 1900s, where men were going away to war, probably dying, it was their role, it was their duty if they wanted to be part of the war effort. So, yeah, obviously...
Completely obligated.
Yeah, obligated. So now, of course, much different story. Even, like, after the 1940s, when they were basically drafted to build bombs and to go and, like, you know, do the sort of heavy-handed work, then they were, like, obviously necessary when it came down to, like, brass tacks. They needed to, you know, bring out the big guns. That's where Rosie the Riveter came from. But at the time, obviously, it was more expected for them to be in those roles. Obviously now, not the case, but it's hard to, I guess, follow that, especially when things are ever changing. I mean, even back in the 80s, like, there was a lot of shit going on, again, in Hollywood that is completely unacceptable now. That was just commonplace. I mean,
like what?
Harvey Weinstein, I'll just say Harvey Weinstein didn't, like, invent the casting couch. It's like, yeah. There were lots of people that were, like, taking advantage of, even kids.
What? Okay, the only instance I know about the casting couch is like in porn. So like what?
That came from like the Hollywood. Like,
yeah. So what would happen? Like they'd be like, hey, like. It
was basically like, why don't you come into my office and we'll talk about this role, and then they would have them sit on the couch, and then they would probably like do something. Like, you know, very awful right now. I mean, people have done it in the past. They've done it to get into places of like power, essentially. Not good, but you know, it's what they had to do, or they thought what they had to do at the time. Maybe I'm going a little bit too far into this. I don't know.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. It's definitely really complicated to talk about.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you haven't said anything like controversial or anything.
Good.
We're talking pretty like. We're talking.
Cancel my first episode.
Yeah, that would suck, dude. Can you imagine?
God, no.
All the comments like, what the fuck is she saying?
Maybe it helps. I don't know. Maybe it's.
No, you're talking about it in a pretty matter-of-fact way, and like, when you're sharing opinions, it's opinions that everyone fucking shares.
Yeah, like I'm not the first person to think that cancel culture is toxic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it is not. It's not effective. And do you know what McCarthyism is, right?
McCarthyism?
Yeah.
No.
Very similar, except that it was anti-communism back in the 50s. During, like, obviously, Red Scare, people were terrified of communists. So if you had any communist tendencies, even down to, like, maybe people shouldn't have to be put down by the man, then you were labeled a communist, and you were essentially ousted from...
So fucked up.
Yeah, every aspect of life. Obviously, when you do shitty things, you should face the consequences, but your entire life shouldn't be, like, wiped off the map. Unless you're Harvey Weinstein, then fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, like when you say that, do you mean, like, if you did it, like, once, it's definitely not, like, acceptable, but it's, like...
Well, imagine your entire life being about the worst thing that you ever did. And that's a really common thing with prisons, too. I mean, they're filled with people that have done maybe something that was seen bad in the eyes of the law. They did it once, and, like, they're put away for life. If it's murder, obviously, like, you know, it's kind of a shitty thing to do.
Can't really happen in the streets.
Can't happen in the streets. If it's selling marijuana, that's another thing. Through the lens of now, marijuana is very acceptable. There's still people in jail for that shit.
Aren't they taking people out, though? Aren't they,
Yes.
like, kind of reversing that,
There's a lot of pardons, especially in states where it's now legal. Washington, I think, was one of the first. Colorado as well, obviously, because they were, like, the first ones to legalize it.
Was Colorado after Washington?
I think they were the same time.
Mm.
Colorado's always the one that gets the fucking credit, though.
Yeah.
It's like, we've had weed, too.
Yeah. I remember when it first became legal, I was just, like, so dumbfounded. I was 14.
I was in middle school, and I was like, this is the end of everything, and I'm like, oh, wait, nothing's changed.
When was the first time you smoked flower?
Oh, God. I was definitely older. I was 18.
Nice.
It was such an, like, eye-opening experience, because I was definitely like, oh, God, this is gonna fuck me up, and I was like, wait, this is nice.
Wait,
this.
I just feel chill.
I just feel really relaxed. And I watched movies with my friends and we laughed our asses off over stupid shit.
Yeah.
Which, I'm glad that I was older when I did it, because I know people that started when they were young because they felt like they had to, and then they kind of just ended up making really bad decisions.
Yeah.
It's not super good on the developing brain, but if you're an adult, go wild. I mean, do whatever.
Yeah, I did it for the first time when I was 15, and then I didn't do it for, like, another year, and then I did it again, and then not for, like, another... So, like, I did it, like, once, like, a year until, like, I was 19.
Okay.
And then I started doing it. Yeah, the senioritis. I mentioned this in the Fucked Up podcast, but for the viewer's sake, I'll just retell this parable really quick. So, basically, I had 3 days left of my senior year, and I just discovered what a dab pen was, and, like... You know, the first time anyone gets a dab pen, they kind of treat it like a vape, and then they learn why they should not fucking do that. But, like, yeah, so I had these glasses that were, like, clear lens, and I just thought that, like, if I smoked and just put those glasses on, like, then my eyes, like, dude, my eyes would get so... Because, like, when I get high, my eyes just get so bloodshot, like, extremely bloodshot, so it's, like... So I just wear those glasses. I'm like, oh, it's like I'm wearing a mask. It's fine.
Windows.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I would be so careless with it. I'd be in class like this, and I would just go under. I'd just go under the table, or I would just if right here is the bathroom door, I would just be standing right here. Like my friends would walk in, and they'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude? Go in the stall." And like there was many instances where I should have been caught, but anyway. So there's 3 days left, and it's like 7:50, like 10 minutes before class starts, and I go to the bathroom, and I'm hitting it a couple times, and then this guy I played soccer with comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey bro, can I hit your dab pen?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he hits it twice. He's a very small guy, and then he's Asian, and all of a sudden his eyes just like shut, and it's like this is like 30 seconds after, so like, and I didn't really know much about weed back then, so I was like, oh, he's just high, right? Like, he won't get any more high. Mm-hmm. So then he gets into class, and he gets so fucking high that he like, starts to get, like, sick. No. So he's like, "Hey, can I go to the office? I think I need to go home." And the teacher's like, "Okay." So he goes to the office, and, like, he must have been so obvious because you know how, like, boomers, like, they don't know anything. Like, like, here's another thing that happened. I had it in my pocket, and we were doing sit-ups and weights, and it just fell out. And then I was just, like, doing sit-ups, and then my weights teacher was like, "Pat, seriously?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" And then my friend was like, "Patrick!" And I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "I'm so sorry, mister, you're out. Like, it won't happen again." He's like, "Really? Vaping in class?" I was like, "Yes. Yes, I'm so sorry, I won't vape anymore." But yeah, then this kid goes to the office, tells him he needs to go home, and then they're like, "Hey, why don't you go see the nurse?" And then I don't know if they like guilted him, because you know when you're a sophomore, he was a sophomore, and if they basically just like predict like what you are, then you're gonna crack. You're gonna be like, yeah. So I'm in photography, just doing some shit, and then I feel like a plastic thing poke my back, and I turn around, and there's 2 administrators and the resource officer, and then they take me to the office, and I just like at first I just lie about everything, and then they have it on video. So I'm like, shit.
How did they get that on video?
Security cam. They saw us like me go into the bathroom and then him go into the bathroom.
1984.
Yeah, it's so fucked up, dude.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, and they reached in my backpack and they took it, and then and the thing is, I didn't tell you this last podcast, but so the senioritis got so bad that like I just like stopped trying in school. Yeah. And I looked at my thing and I was like, okay, credits wise, I need to pass this one, and that's pretty much it. So. Yeah. And like I was always planning on going into the construction trades, so I was like, I don't really need to go to college. So, and then our family friend was a teacher, so he was like, Patrick, I want you to stay with me, and like we're gonna do homework, and like I didn't want to do that at all, but my grandparents made me. Yeah. So I was staying with them, and then he would like. We'd get done doing like 7 hours of homework, and my friend lived up the road, and I'm like, "Hey, can I go hang out with my friend?" He's like, "No, I'm sorry, buddy. You gotta stay here." I'm like, okay, dude. So that happens, and I get suspended, and I go home to my grandparents' house, and he comes over, and he sits down. He's like, "Hey, buddy, still stoned?" He's like such a square. Yeah. Like he's 38, he just got married, and he's been in like one other relationship in his life. So he's a little bit of like a square. Yeah. But he was just like so fucking pissed, and it took a while to mend that relationship back. Yeah. But but then they told me I wasn't going to be able to walk at graduation, and then my grandpa called the school, and he has a key to the city in Spokane. Like he was inducted into the Citizens Hall of Fame.
You were the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah. So he's like, and like whenever I would have a substitute teacher, they'd be like, "Hey, is your grandpa like a doctor? Like he worked on my son or something." So like, he was well known around Spokane. So he called them, and he was like, please let him walk. Like this would be a huge embarrassment to us. Nice. And they're like, okay. So then I had to go in and like do my proctored finals, and they were just sitting there in the meeting room for the teachers, and then they're like, finish this up because we want you to walk. And I'm like, I can walk? And they're like, yeah, we want you to walk. And like they didn't tell me, and I just thought it was because I was just so like charming. I was just like,
yeah, you need Goodfellas Mafia connections.
Yeah. But yeah, it was insane. And that, like, the day that I got it taken away, I just literally bought another cart like after school. So it's like, you know,
didn't learn a thing.
Didn't learn a damn thing, dude.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and that was the start of and it was like And I had like bleach blonde hair, so it was just like the whole look.
Like
soccer shorts.
They're probably waiting for you to fuck up, honestly.
Yeah. Like this, we got our eyes on this fucking kid.
I have an interesting story about how almost my entire senior class didn't walk.
Well, because like they all got disciplined for something.
Well, here's what happened. So, it's kind of a little bit of a long story. I'll just kind of try to cover the beginning. Is that my high school class was considered the very boring class because I went to like the peppiest, most annoying high school in all of Seattle. It's like even now I'm like I don't give a fuck about all this shit.
Was in like a really really good neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a very rich school. And they love their school spirit, they love their football, they love their programs. Of course, we knew better. You're like, this shit doesn't matter, I'm not here in 4 years. So, for the first 2 years, we just didn't give a fuck. Up until, like...
Just your class?
Yeah, just my class didn't participate in any, like, the school stuff. We didn't care. We didn't, like, do any clubs. We were just like, this is bullshit. Until the very end of sophomore year where we lost the class competition to the fucking freshmen. Now,
wait, what was it? Was it like a physical...
It's just like if you go to all, like, the spirit stuff and, like...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you participate, you get points. It's
points, yeah.
Skinnerian box, like, psychology. Even now I'm like, this is bullshit. But losing to the freshmen definitely stung, like, a lot. So we were like, okay, you know what? Fuck these kids. We're gonna be better. So we go from being the worst to being near perfect from sophomore to junior year. I was in a newspaper and I did an article, I drew for an article based on this exact thing. But like apparently I learned that we were literally like almost neck and neck with the seniors. And the seniors always won. Obviously they won that year, that we were not gonna win. But it went from like just not caring to going hard, and then we went even harder the next year. Like the senior class, whenever...
What was this next year
that was
for you?
Senior year. So
your senior year,
my senior year, like all of our senior year, just went fucking ham. Like they were gonna do pranks all the time. They were gonna do so many senior skip days. They just like had such a rapport with a lot of the teachers. And to be fair, I think my principal was kind of a narc, so he wasn't super on board. It was like we were just fooling around. So then came the senior prank, and the senior prank for the last 3 years sucked dick. It was just like the most boring, like, let's skip school, let's have a tailgate in the fucking parking lot. Like, original. They're like, nah, bitch. We're doing capture the flag in school during lunch. We almost ran over like a disabled kid in his wheelchair.
With what?
With just a stampede.
Oh no!
I felt
in your class?
It was just in the hallways.
Was he a senior? Or?
No, he was a freshman. Oh, yeah, he had a service dog and everything.
Oh,
I feel
God.
really bad now, but it just is like mom mentality. And we were just like running at each other with like these fake weapons. They said fake weapons. People ended up putting like rulers and shit in there, just whacking people over the head with them. Yeah, it got too violent too quickly. And at one point, I remember, I think I was on the blue team, and there was 3 blue team guys cornering 1 red team dude, and they're just having fun or whatever. And this teacher comes and fucking like grabs the shoulders and goes, "Gentlemen, you'll be expelled and you won't walk." And then I stood there and I'm like, oh my god, we're probably gonna get in trouble for this.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I think our team ends up winning, and they're like, maybe we should go outside. So then we go outside and we just run at each other with these fake weapons for the entire lunch period, just smack them over the head with each other. Like, just smack them over the head of everybody. Whacking in the stomach. I think I got the air knocked out of me at one point.
So how did you receive this information that you're potentially not gonna walk?
Like over the intercom next period.
Oh no!
Yeah, literally, I go to my class and I scrub all like the shit off my face really quickly, and I go sit in my class. The teacher was really cool with me. She was like, "Should I be worried?" Because she sees all the pain on my face. I'm like, "Don't worry about it." And she's like, "Okay." She was cool. But then I remember it goes on, and Mr. Vance, our principal, you can bleep that out, I guess, if it's important. But yeah, our principal is just like, what the fuck? Like, okay, that was not acceptable, and there's going to be some disciplinary action taken. And I was like, oh shit. So by the end of the week, I think that was on a Wednesday, by Friday, there was a written apology by like the school associated students, like the collective, the president, the vice president. It was just like a written apology written to Mr. Vance, and he read it aloud over the intercom. And like, the whole time I'm like, this motherfucker is making too big of a deal over this. I mean, like, yeah, nobody got like hurt. Everybody that got involved wanted to be there. Like, they wanted to get whacked.
No one was involuntarily whacked over the head.
No one was gonna sue Mr. Vance. It wasn't his idea. He was one of those like really obnoxious progressive principals who was really just like a total narc. But like,
well, I'm assuming you like told everyone and their mom that you're coming on the Syrian Trap House podcast.
The Syrian Trap House. I had to. I mean, mean, it's like
the podcast where we have to manually walk around and turn on each camera.
all the cameras, professionalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents, they thought that shit was hilarious. Like, I think I just told them about it, and they're like, "Well, was the kid okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, he was fine." And they're like, "Okay, that shit was funny." I'm sure, you know what, they got an email, and my mom literally texted me to be like, "The principal's such a fucking idiot." Like, he is.
Usually progressive is a positive word, but
Not in this case. No, it's like they're secretly just like totally keeping tabs on you.
Yeah.
And very 1984.
Yeah. It's like Ed Rooney.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna get this kid.
Fucking yeah, it was too similar. I feel bad because he's a nice guy. He looked like like the kid Linguini from Ratatouille.
Yes.
That was a huge meme in our schools. That he looked a lot like him.
So he was like tall and thin.
Really, yeah, thin, got like the curly hair.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Nothing's funnier than when like grown adults have like kid curls.
It's hilarious. And he was just like, I'm just your average like, principal. I go skydiving once in a while. He didn't. He went cliff jumping once. And took a yeah, and he took a picture. He's just like, I'm just your normal principal. And then we do something like really, like obviously like kind of crazy. It's like 80s movie level crazy for like high school. And he almost declared martial law. I'm like, bro, get a fucking life. Now he teaches in West Seattle, which is a very different arena.
Is it another high school?
Yeah, it's like lower income, obviously.
Yeah, we got those in Spokane too.
I mean, so he had it was a very like high income school, and he was just kind of a dick about everything. So I'm curious to see what he's doing now.
Yeah, the one I went to was definitely very privileged. When my dad went there, it was like super like only like the rich kids went there.
Yeah.
And then when I was a freshman, it was pretty much like that too. But as soon as when I was graduating, like dude, there was a tough crowd there. Mm-hmm. Like vaping really only became a thing when I was like a senior.
Yeah.
But it was like 15-year-olds like vaping all the time.
Yeah.
And then there was a kid at our rival high school whose lung collapsed.
Oh Jesus.
From juuling.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, that's almost an epidemic. It's so bad.
Yeah. It is kind of interesting how like cigarettes went from being like a really awful thing to now like tobacco is back with a new brand, a new name.
And then some people just smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
They're fine with it.
And in a way, I almost wish that they would just smoke cigarettes because I feel like it's more just like I know what the fuck I'm doing. And I don't care, rather than just like, no, it's totally healthier for you, and then just like completely like killing your immune system.
Yeah, it doesn't have the tar and stuff, but what it does have is like little shards of like metal.
Yeah.
That you're like breathing in.
You're heating up metal and you're basically like inhaling it.
Which is like I had a Juul for like a year, like straight up, and I completely noticed it. Like I remember, you know how like when you're really congested, you're like wheeze, like your breath is wheezing a little bit. I like went to bed and I was like, why does it sound like that? Oh, it's probably nothing. And then what is that?
It's the government. They're keeping track of our conversation.
And yeah, and then eventually my lungs like actually started hurting.
Jeez. Yeah.
But I'm gonna be straight up, dude. I was addicted.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm not dead. Mm-hmm. And then one day, like I was running and it literally felt like a cramp.
God.
So I was like, all right, and I just threw it away. I was like, fuck this, dude. Like.
Yeah, good for you.
So and that's my personality. Mm-hmm. Like so addicting. Whatever I'm doing. Like when I started working out, like it just had to be every day.
Yeah.
And when I started smoking weed, it was just, I just have to do it all the time, which is just so bad.
Yeah, I have addiction on, like, both sides of my family. I somehow became, like, the opposite of that, though, which I guess is good, yeah. I mean, I think just the positive thing is that I'm really lazy, so, like, even if I want to do something, I won't do it. And then I just kind of keep myself from getting, like, really addicted to things.
Yeah. She's dead.
Yeah.
RIP. Yeah, that's crazy. Was there like a craze like that in your high school? Like,
oh yeah, I would say. I mean, Western is definitely like the more weedy school. Obviously, like weed was way more popular here, but kids had vapes all the time in high school. My friend ended up getting a vape without the fluid just for the tricks. Like to have the whole like setup, like the rainbow shit. Took a couple hits off of it. I mean, it was like nothing. Sorry, mom. Oh wait, that camera said. Sorry, mom. It was. I remember, like, the appeal, Because it was also, like, around the time that, like, vape tricks and shit were starting to get really big.
Yeah, blowing O's.
Yeah, just like the cool shit, but I definitely, like, it didn't feel very good. Just
like
breathing in, like, all that vapor into, like, your lungs and shit. Because I did not smoke weed when I vaped. Like, that was before, and now I can probably do it and had not be a big issue. But I also just, like, I've never really trusted it, I guess.
Yeah, why should you?
Yeah.
Some of it's not very regulated.
You think that you're, like, you know everything, especially considering how little people knew in the past, like, with cigarettes and, like, other shit. Like, I mean, people were putting arsenic in wallpaper back in, like, the Victorian days, and they were just like, it's green, it glows green. So it's like, you think you know everything, and it's like, well, I have this, and people vape all the time, so it's like, we're not gonna learn anything.
Yeah, it's kind of like a propane.
Yes.
They added a smell to it,
Uh-huh.
Because otherwise, like, you'd just be sitting there and then you're dead.
And then you're dead.
Yeah.
Carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
Same shit, too. I live in constant fear.
What?
Of just, like, lots of really terrible shit could happen to you at any time. If you think about it for a little bit too long.
Yeah, my this whole past year, 2020, has been like a huge eye opener because like, not to bring the mood down too much, but January 23rd, 2020, one of my friends passed away.
Really?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
I met him. I was a sophomore, and he walked into my biology class. We sat together, and then we played soccer together for an entire season. Saw him 5 days a week, and then December 22nd of 2019, that was the last time I ever saw him, and we were in my grandparents' basement, and we were like drinking and stuff, and I just had like an idea to like film.
Yeah.
So I went and grabbed that, and like if I hadn't done that, like I just wouldn't have anything.
Damn.
And I made like a video for him because that was like my way of like grieving.
Mm-hmm.
Is like making something for him just so he just like I don't know for like tribute.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really changed my perspective on like life and stuff. And so like in ways of like life's really not as bad as you think it is because like it was a car crash, but it's like it was a suicide. Like
really?
It just was like because he was very disturbed. Like he was like stealing alcohol from stores and stuff, and like it's like once you start doing stuff like that, like you really don't give a fuck. It's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he just like he passed away, and I realized that like one, like nothing is permanent, and you got to be in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But also like anytime that you're in like mental turmoil, you gotta be aware of that. Like there's a lot of people that are suffering much worse than you are.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's not fun because it's like, well, I'm sad now.
Yeah.
I want to be sad now, but then it's like, you know what? I could be like homeless right now.
Yeah.
Like, I could be not even be in school. I'm very fortunate for a lot of different things.
Yeah, and that when I got fired from my plumbing job.
Oh yeah.
That was a really good thing to turn to. Mm-hmm. So I was like, at least I'm alive and I have a huge support system behind me, and at least I'm like happy and healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's insane how like something like that changed. And like obviously I wish he was here today, but nothing. But like what it taught me was that like just really important life lessons that I'll carry through until like I leave this earth. Like that's there's so valuable lessons. And then like one of my teachers told me that like he was like, yeah dude, they seem to like go faster and faster. And it's sad because like people that you go to high school with, like they develop like really bad habits, for example.
Yeah.
So then they're really unhealthy, and then they like die like at like 50, and you're like, and you didn't really hear from them or of them, and then all of a sudden they're dead, and you're like, what the fuck, dude? Mm-hmm. It's just like the most shocking thing. Was there anyone from your school that committed suicide?
Not committed suicide, but had like severe brain damage from an accident. Yeah.
Like was never the same?
I don't think he's going to be the same, unfortunately. I haven't seen or spoken to him since. I mean, we barely talked in high school. We like sat next to each other and we occasionally chatted. And it literally happened the summer before college. He fell out of like a second-story window and...
On his head?
On his head. They thought he was dead for like 12 hours. He was alive. He just had like, he has like really, really horrible like nerve damage. And I was just kind of sitting there and it's like, yeah, I never really talked to this guy. Like I wouldn't say that he was one of my best friends. And still it's just like a really weird sensation that like some part of like a thing that you remember of them is never going to be around anymore.
Yeah. And
I feel really terrible for like his family and him and all of his friends that like had to deal with that when it did happen. But yeah, it definitely makes you kind of go, oh my god, I need to not be such a, like, I need to think about shit, like, a lot more.
For real. And it's like, and that is kind of a death.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a death of a version of someone.
It's the death of a character, almost.
Yeah, and it's like so sad. It's like with a lot of boxers, like Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't sound anything like he did when he was like 20.
No.
Because he's just had so much brain damage, and it's just like, and it's like, and like fighters are like revered, like they're like, people are like, God, they're warriors, but like, what is it like at home? Like, they probably forget shit. Like, there's one guy who's known for like not getting punched a lot, and he got pulled over, and like in like, you know how the cops have a camera right here?
Yeah.
He's known for never getting hit, but he said he's like, I'm sorry, I forget a lot of things. Like, I fight for a living.
Yeah.
So it's like the people that are known for like it's called standing and banging.
Yeah.
It's like, can you imagine like what their life is like?
It's probably misery, honestly.
Like, they just forget things. They feel like shit, and it's just like, ugh. And like the thing that like really intrigued me about when I got into like MMA was that like a lot of them start with nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, they're literally homeless, and that's their only thing that like they're good at, like is fighting. So like that's why they get it. So like their passion is just like burns so deep, and like when they talk, it's just like, how can you be so passionate about fighting?
I know.
But it's like they're fighting for their life and their families their families like well-being and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's just crazy.
Yeah, you kind of got me into MMA a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I definitely, like, follow it a little bit more. I was never super into, like, wrestling or, like, boxing or any of that stuff, but I do find it more interesting now.
What about it? I'm curious.
I guess just the technique.
Right?
Yeah.
Once you differentiate MMA from just beating the shit out of someone, like I know jiu-jitsu. When I see like a jiu-jitsu position, I really like appreciate it because I know how much skill that is.
Yeah. It was kind of like when I started drawing, too. It's like,
like,
especially if you see something that you think maybe didn't take a lot of effort, you're like, I can appreciate, like, what the vision.
Yeah,
or it's like when you see someone, like, how they, like, you know, maybe in the split second decided to, like, bank left instead of just take the shot or, like, block. Yeah. And it's like, wow. That is, like, a lot of little decisions being made at that point, and it's really impressive.
You know that song that Ariana Grande made with Justin Bieber for quarantine? It's called Stuck With You.
I did not see that one.
Well, the album cover is literally like a stick drawing of like a house, and I thought it was pretty cool. So like, so I just like wanted to try drawing it, and I was like, why is this so fucking hard?
I've been there.
I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. And I was like looking at it, it's like there's like literally 10 lines. Like, why can't I draw this?
Yeah. I know. I had that
so
exact
bad.
moment. I think that was when I wanted to start drawing initially, is like I read this comic. And I really like comics. I was grew up with comics. And I was
nice.
Oh, this should be easy. I mean, it's like a couple of circles and like a dot. And then I tried doing it. I'm like, what the fuck? And I was just so like put off by it. And I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to keep going with this. And then I like somehow, I mean, I'm here, so.
Made it through.
I made it here. I helped Liam with his t-shirt.
Yes. Maggie's sporting. Maybe you want to flash it to the camera. Maggie is sporting the Enter the Shaman shirt. First ever design. It looks great.
Hopefully first of many.
Definitely first of many, especially because of the reception that it got. Mm-hmm. I thought it was great. I find it extremely comfortable.
I love this shirt.
Yeah, like isn't it genuinely comfortable?
Yeah. No, it's great. It's like it's just like, is this just pure cotton?
Yeah, I think so.
It's really nice.
And like, he said he was gonna get it from AliExpress, so I thought it was gonna be some cheap shit. Not that Hanes, but dude, it's fucking awesome. And I'm really excited because I'm gonna do some concepts with Kim and then hopefully you in the future. And just because I want to design stuff like hoodies. I really like black hoodies.
Black hoodies are always a mood. They're always
dude. And you could create such. Would it like if you saw like a picture online and you like. Do you just save it and then you just like, and that's how you just...
Oh, yeah. I have like, my phone is full of like a bunch of random stuff that I was just like, I like that. I'm going to copy that. And I haven't even like really thought about it since. And then I'll like scroll back to it and I was like, oh yeah. Okay. And then just keep going.
Yeah. It's the thought of like, cause I really like printed tees. Do you wear a lot of printed tees?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I like that shit.
So it's cool. The concept of creating your own or like, oh, I wish I could have that. Like once you know how to do it, it's super cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited to like try it because I think it would be really fun.
It's cool to just open new doors. Like that's the one thing I learned. I like being around like you guys because you're so creative, and, like open-minded, and like when it comes to people being creative, that also like carries into other things. It means they have an open mind.
Yeah.
And that really like shows with like you and Diego and all you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, cause like, for example, there's like I have a friend who like, if I pivot too far, like let's say we're talking about sports and then I want to talk about a movie I saw. Mm-hmm. If you pivot too far, he just like, oh, okay. Like he just does not want to talk. Like he just doesn't have a flexible conversational mind. So having that is super cool. And that's why I like doing the podcast, because it really like exercises the mind. Mm-hmm. After like our last podcast, I was like, my head's tired.
Yeah, you get kind of exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool, and I'm just excited for like what our podcast setup will become.
Yeah, I'm
like,
excited to see what it looks like.
The set will look so different like 10 episodes from now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Liam's going to in June. He's going. Do you know he's doing a internship in Amazon?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
He doesn't know where he's going, but it's between like California and Texas.
Is he just going to be gone for the summer?
He's going to be gone for 10 weeks only.
10 weeks, okay. Well, that's pretty short.
His last internship was 10 weeks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The one in Oak Harbor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's taking his bed, and I'm going to use like his paintings and stuff and like put them like on one wall, and then just have that's going to be the podcast room.
Nice.
Yeah, because like a lot of sets, I watch a lot of podcasts, and a lot of the best sets have like really good artwork and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Like
Joe Rogan, he had like a mugshot of Jimi Hendrix behind him.
Cool.
And Liam has a mugshot of Larry King.
R.I.P.
He was a living legend, dude.
I know.
So crazy.
I never thought he would die.
Yeah. He's, in a way, he's not dead.
He's not dead. Yeah. I'll never see him as dead. I'll just see him as a legend.
He's always like, wow, he's like, well, what were you doing with the
suspenders?
Yeah, suspenders and the bow tie.
Like the last dude that can rock that.
Yeah,
like,
with the glasses. Yeah, Bill Nye is a legend. You know, I actually didn't know Bill Nye was like a real scientist until
yeah.
Because there's a lot of TV like scientists and,
that are just like they just have the personality, so they
have a script.
Yeah.
So they sound so smart.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what the fuck? You don't know shit.
He's a cool guy. I respect that editing style of that show too. It's so wacky.
Which one?
Just Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really. I remember trying to watch it while high and getting really stressed out because of all the sound
what
effects.
The fuck is happening?
A lot of that shit was filmed in Seattle, you know.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
no
like
way.
I think there's this one where he's literally on Lake Union, and I was like, "What the fuck, dude? That's Amazon! Like Amazon's right there." Obviously, it was the '90s, but like, yeah, a lot of that shit. It's just like it's like a wonder that it's no wonder that kids like nowadays have ADD.
Yeah.
You put that shit in front of them, and they're just gonna constantly be thinking.
Yeah, it's captivating. There's so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
Science rules.
Science rules. Consider the following.
You know, I figured out what the new intro needs to be for Syrian Trap House. Like just for comedic purposes, it should be like, welcome back into the Syrian Trap House podcast, brought to you by NPR and All Things Considered.
This is gonna be an ASMR podcast now.
Wait, have you heard NPR?
I have listened to NPR occasionally.
Well, that's like what they sound like.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest ASMR person, but
me either.
Yeah.
I
don't see the drive.
Yeah, I don't see anything because like. I can understand like listening to like water flowing to go to bed, but it's like I don't want to listen to someone else's voice unless it's like
eating crab, like raw crab, doing this shit.
You guys like that?
Yeah. I should start a channel.
You get traffic.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna shameful.
There was this one girl who H3H3 podcast was talking about, and it was like the weirdest shit. Like her mom got her into it because she knew that it would she got into it, and like her mom like definitely should have stepped in and said, no, we're not doing this, but it was very obvious that the mom was extremely greedy.
Yeah.
So she was like, so she would do stuff like she had like this like she's like 13.
Oh god.
And there was one ASMR where like she had this like slutty like police outfit on, and she like this is the window to the car, and she's like, she's like starts talking to me. She's like, this is never gonna happen. I was like, dude.
She's 13.
Yes, dude. And then there was one with her mom. There's a video with her mom, and she's like, her mom was like, yeah, I don't see what's so bad about it. Oh like, if my daughter wants to do it, it's like...
Those are the types of people that should not have kids.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry. Yeah. Like, you can allow your kids to be expressive, but you gotta give them, like, limits.
Yeah, because they don't know their limits.
They don't know their limits. I didn't know my fucking limits. I was a dumbass kid. Yeah. My mom's like, hey, maybe don't eat the silica gel.
You're like, why not? It's like, it's another package inside the package.
It looks so tasty. Like, even if they just say, like, hey, maybe you should think about picking a stable career path, it sort of gives you character to kind of just say no. I mean, my mom is very supportive, obviously. Love you, Mom. But, you know, first she was like, maybe you shouldn't do art, like, right away.
Yeah.
And, obviously, like, you feel like you have to pull that up. Although, it's very, it's a pretty healthy sense of, like, humility. That's what I've kind of learned, is that, like, literally everybody else in my major feels that way. Because they talk about it. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm not the only person who feels this way.
Yeah, it's crazy because, like, when you're younger, no one really talk. Like, when you're, like, in, like, freshman high school and stuff, all the insecurities that you have, no one talks about, but everyone has.
Everyone has them, yeah.
How do you think you compare, like, personality-wise to the people that you know in your degree?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say because I haven't gotten to talk to them all that much.
Did you ever do any...
I had 1 quarter.
Oh my god, that sucks.
Okay, well, maybe 2, because I did take an illustration class. I will say, though, there was all types of people, and it kind of helped me to decide what I wanted to be and what I didn't want to be as a person, because you got people that just had, like, terrible confidence, to the point where I was like, you know, they would constantly talk about, like, I'm terrible, I'm shitty, I don't belong in this program, and at first you're like, no, it's okay to, like, maybe you don't belong in this program, because you're fucking annoying me.
Yeah, if you really believe that, dude, it's no one will believe in you more than you believe in you.
Yeah.
No one will love you more than you love you.
I've watched professors, like, just destroy people. And it hurts. I've also been there. Like, seeing, like, when you think you have something, just, destroy everything. Like, the professors will just, like, you think you have something really good. You'll show it to them, and then they'll just kind of go like this, because they don't get it. And you just sit there and you're like, I want to apologize to this man right now. Kiss his feet. Yeah. And it's not that he is necessarily, like, upset with it. He is just learning where you were going. And initially it's like, man, fuck you. Like, he doesn't get it to, like, okay, I want to impress this person. So, like, when I took that illustration class, I think it was a really good, like, lesson in just, like, figuring out how to, like, please people, but also, like, stick to my own morals. Because initially I was like, I cannot get this guy to like me. To, like, fuck this guy, I'm gonna do whatever I want. And then he liked it. So, that's all it takes.
Confidence, people.
Confidence.
Syrian Trap House, episode number. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for coming back for the reshoot. Yeah. You know, hopefully none of this shit happens again.
Even if it does, I'll come back. I have fun doing this.
Yeah, it's a good time. And, you know, not to toot my own horn, but, you know, I'm sure all the studying you do, I'm sure it's good to get away and do something else.
Yeah, I need to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
definitely. Are you on your computer just all day?
I was doing nothing but critiques yesterday. I did not leave the house. Yeah, I was so miserable.
Dude.
So this helps.
Summer, please get here soon.
Please.
Syrian Trap House Podcast. We're out.
Peace. That was awesome.
Yeah, fuck yeah.